Sunday storm update from the 1 Degree Outside Weather Network meteorologist Danielle Noyes here with our major nor'easter on the way. Snow will fill in this evening, ramps up overnight. The height of the storm will be pre-dawn Monday through the afternoon. But keying in on some of the heaviest snow windows, 6 a.m. to 1 p.m., that's when snowfall rates will top out 2 to 4 inches per hour at times. And that also coincides with the damaging wind gusts, 50 to 70 miles per hour, will result in whiteout conditions. Travel will become nearly impossible. Thundersnow possible in that window as well. We do anticipate scattered to numerous outages and some tree damage, coastal flooding, and erosion. So we'll get to all of that. Blizzard warnings have been extended both on the south and north side. So you see kind of the breadth of this storm. The east side of the Chesapeake now all the way back down to Cape Charles, Virginia, under blizzard warnings that extend all the way back up through New York City, the Jersey coastline, Long Island, all of southern Connecticut and Rhode Island, all of eastern Massachusetts with the exception of Nantucket, and then it has also been expanded to the New Hampshire seacoast as well. So blizzard conditions, quarter-mile visibility or less in heavy snow, blowing and drifting for at least 3 consecutive hours or more. That's the official definition, and we will get that with dangerous travel conditions. And I do think blizzard-like conditions will happen outside of this zone, and you'll see why in just a second. Let's time things out. With the onshore wind, couple of snow showers or flurries will drift in off the ocean. No big impact with that. And notice through the course of the afternoon, most of us are dry. The snow does come into Connecticut over the course of late morning to early afternoon in western Connecticut first, and then fills in mid to late afternoon. Notice by 4 p.m., just coming over the Mass Connecticut border, filling in across Rhode Island, putting a start time around 5 to 6 p.m. in Worcester, around 8 p.m. in the city of Boston, then lifting northward right along the Mass-New Hampshire border into the Merrimack Valley, 8 to 9, and then northward to Manchester, 9 to 10. Same for southern Vermont. Notice the little bit of mix, and we talked about this yesterday, a little bit of flip-flopping, the only spot really for the outer Cape to Nantucket, closest to the storm center. Also notice the difference in temperature. So we're in the 30s in eastern Massachusetts to start the event. A heavy, wet snow consistency. Inland, we're running in the 20s where it will be fluffier. Same for northern New England, but you're more removed from the moisture. So this is the map overnight tonight. Look at some of these deeper blues filling in. This is what I was talking about. 2 to 4 inch per hour snow over the course of Monday morning into early afternoon, particularly from the Worcester to Boston corridor. And that will extend to Cape Cod as well. Notice, yes, Nantucket flip-flops will flip from rain back to snow at times. Same for the outer Cape, perhaps a touch of sleet mixed in. But again, it's back and forth over the course of Monday morning to afternoon in those areas. Also notice what happens. The temperature drops, that coastal front setting up. So as colder air feeds into the storm, the temperatures drop from the low 30s to start into the 20s for the Merrimack Valley, Metro West, the city of Boston, and then eventually back down to the South Shore and Cape, but not until late afternoon on Monday. Notice the sharp northwest cutoff too. So the back edge comes in between 4 and 6 p.m. in western New England, 6 to 8 p.m. the farther east you go. So it is a long duration event for about 24 hours of snow. And then notice by 11 p.m. the last of the light snow will exit the outer Cape. Still some pockets across far northern and eastern Maine through the overnight on Monday night. Clearing coming in behind it with temperatures in the teens to lower 20s waking up on Tuesday morning. So no big changes to our accumulation map. We are still anticipating widespread 1.5 to 2 feet of snow all the way from the south coast of Connecticut, eastern Connecticut, central and eastern Massachusetts, the mid and outer Cape, and we'll zoom in a second, a little bit less. Same for the far interior. You say a little bit less, so it's still a foot and a half, 8 to 12 northern Berkshire County into southern Vermont. So for places like Worcester to Boston, it's about 20 to 24 inches. Higher possible with some of those bands of 2 to 4 inch per hour snow here. So for the South Shore, stretching back down along the south coast, perhaps into far eastern Rhode Island as well. Wouldn't be surprised if we have some amounts that go over 2 feet in this zone. Notice we extended the 18 to 24 just a little bit too on the upper Cape. 12 to 18 on the mid and outer Cape with 8 to 12 on Nantucket, and that may skirt back up to Chatham as well with a little more mixing. And then we've tightened things up just a little bit here when you go north of Boston into the Merrimack Valley. You'll probably be in the top end of this 12 to 18 range. Same when you get back out near Jaffrey, Winchendon, Athol, and then in northern New England, the biggest change is we've tightened up that gradient. So you get 12 to 18 right over the Mass-New Hampshire border into far southern York County, and then amounts tick A little bit lower north of that, say Manchester, back up on the south side of the Lakes region. So we go 8 to 12, but then 6 to 8 and 4 to 6 when you get near Meredith, back up to Conway. That extends into central Maine. There'll be a pretty tight gradient from the mid-coast of Maine, where it's more like 8 to 10, and then lesser amounts the farther north you go, from Rumford to Skowhegan, more like 2 to 4, and then tapering off after that, little if anything for the Champlain Valley and in far northern New England, and then amounts ramp up across central and southern Maine with 2 to 4, 4 to 6, and then 6 to 8. Very fluffy through the interior and much of central and northern New England, but the consistency of the snow will be changeable in a lot of eastern Massachusetts, starting wet, average, and then turning fluffier towards the end of the event. Heavy and wet when you get eastern tip of Essex County, the South Shore, the South Coast, to the Cape and Islands especially. So that will up the risk of outages in those areas when you combine the fact that we have so much snow with damaging wind gusts. Let's talk about the wind. We are talking about it ramping up over the afternoon today, but no big deal still, about 20 to 30 miles per hour through this evening. And then after about 9 to 10 p.m., that's when we start to see some gusts go over 40 on Cape Cod. Watch what happens through the overnight and into tomorrow morning especially. Those wind gusts expand through the overnight. By the time we get to Monday pre-dawn, we're gusting over 40 miles per hour in a lot of spots, 50 to 60 already on Cape Cod. There's a very strong core of wind. Why? Because the storm is rapidly intensifying. Yes, undergoing bombogenesis south and east of Nantucket. So some gusts over 70 miles per hour are possible. The greatest chance of that would be for the outer Cape to Nantucket, where I wouldn't be surprised if we see some gusts up around 75 miles per hour. Notice even Boston gusting tomorrow morning over 50 miles per hour. Same for the South Shore and the South Coast. I think a lot of gusts will end up in that 55 to 65 mile per hour range in southeastern New England. Again, the strongest core of wind from about 7 a.m. until early afternoon. And even through the interior, we're gusting 35 to 40 miles per hour. So that's what I mean about blizzard-like conditions. May not officially be a blizzard for 3 consecutive hours in a row, but you'll get those gusts that will be blowing and drifting the snow around. Some gusts 40 to 50 miles per hour along the Maine coast briefly too through Monday afternoon and evening. It's less of an issue in far northern New England. You're just more removed from the storm center. And the wind will be out of the northeast, then north, then northwest on the backside of the storm, and will eventually taper off as we head into the overnight Monday, throttling back into Tuesday morning. So that will mean pounding surf. The offshore waves build 20 to 25 feet. So a 1 to 3 foot surge, may even be a 3.5 foot surge at the peak on Monday afternoon. So minor pockets of coastal flooding are anticipated and a few moderate pockets possible. Think Hyannis Harbor, Nantucket Harbor, Edgartown as well, and perhaps even Duxbury Harbor briefly. 2 high tide cycles, pre-dawn Monday morning right around 4 a.m. and then 4 p.m. Keep in mind, it's not right in that spot. You live at the coast, you know it's a couple hours either side of that high tide cycle. Road closures, debris will come over the seawalls, pounding surf and beach erosion that will likely last into Tuesday morning's high tide cycle as well, with the wave action still up there. So track it all with our free 5-star weather app. It's kind of the one-stop shop. You get the videos on there. You get the hourly forecast. You can watch our 24/7 network, the interactive radar, and the Send to Us tab. As the snow starts, you get pictures, you've got reports. That's the easiest way to get them to us. You can also tap to watch our stream. It's New England's only weather network 24/7. So many of you say, we still want to watch you on TV, and you can. Open up the YouTube app on your smart TV, search 1 Degree Outside Network, always at 1degreeoutside.live as well. We'll keep you posted on the storm, always at the number 1degreeoutside.com and on social media as well. Thanks so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed this 1 Degree Outside video.
Get exclusive content, support the mission at membership.1degreeoutside.com. And don't forget, free and 5 stars on the App Store and Google Play. Search the number 1 Degree Outside weather.